In this video, we are showing the integration of Sparkflows with Databricks. Sparkflows allows creating workflows using more than 100 out-of-the-box building blocks. These workflows allow you to create features, do machine learning, and data analytics. With the Sparkflows and Databricks integration, you can create workflows on Sparkflows and execute them on your Databricks cluster. So here is the Sparkflows website, and here are the list of steps to install Sparkflows. In order to, I will just go quickly over the installation steps, which are to download the tar zip file, create the H2 database, and all you have to do is to start the server. That's the simple steps of installing Sparkflows. Now here we have a notebook which shows the details of the integration and how you can set it up. This diagram shows that the users can interact with Sparkflows, which could be running on any machine. They could be creating the workflows. And here Sparkflows interacts with the Databricks endpoint to which multiple Spark clusters can be connected. Now in Sparkflows, you can discover your tables which are in Databricks, create workflows using those datasets, and then execute your workflow on your cluster in Databricks. So that provides a very clean and smooth integration. Now let's go ahead and do the steps. So here we are in Sparkflows. The first step is to be able to make sure that you have enabled Databricks in Sparkflows configurations. So here we have Databricks.enabled. That should be set to true. When you do that, the Databricks menu starts to appear. The next step is to go to Databricks configuration. Here you add your Databricks endpoints, which are username, passwords, and endpoint. They are not stored anywhere for security reasons, except in memory. Once you have done that, you will start seeing your Databricks cluster here in Sparkflows. So if we go here, you would see, here I am in the Databricks dashboard. You'll see that I have a Sparkflows cluster with my Databricks endpoint. The next step is installing the Sparkflows library, which is a jar file, to be able to execute your workflows. So in order to do that, you would go to Databricks, go to New Libraries, and drop the fire jar here to be able to create your library. We have already done that for this exercise. Here we see that we have a Sparkflows install on an AWS node. Let me go to Sparkflows and fire-lib directory. Here you see this is the fire jar file that needs to be installed in the library here for us to be able to execute the workflows. Now let's go ahead and check out our tables on Databricks. Here we are looking at housing underscore new table on Databricks, this which we want as an example to create a regression tree on. So this data set has ID, price, lot size, bedrooms, bathrooms, stories. Here plus other features of plus other columns in the table. This is showing the sample data for this data set. Now let's go ahead in Sparkflows and create a data set on our table. Let's call the data set Databricks housing new. Now we go ahead and browse our Databricks details. So here it's showing that there's a Sparkflows cluster. Under Sparkflows cluster, there are 4 tables: bike, housing, new, and test. These are the same that you can see here. These are the 4 tables that I have under Databricks. So now I go back and select housing underscore new, and I hit update. What update does, it fetches the schema for housing underscore new table from Databricks and populates it. Let's go ahead and save the data set. So now we have the data set created pointing to the table in Databricks. The next step is to go ahead and create a workflow that we want to execute on Databricks. Let's call the workflow as workflow-housing-new. Let's start off by using the data set that we created. So we use the dataset structured node for that. We go ahead and select Databricks-housing table that we had created, or I think it was Databricks housing new that we created right now. Let's go ahead and do a vector assembler, as we want to do some machine learning on our data. So in vector assembler, we use lot size, bedrooms, bathrooms, and garage. Let's name the output column as features. So we have the vector assembler created. Let's go ahead and print some records. So here we are printing, for example, 10 records. One good thing is you see that the schema propagation happening. Each node has the schema that's coming into that node. We saw that the vector assembler added a new column called features, which is of type vector UDT, and that's now visible in the print and rows node. The next step, let's do a regression. Let's say we do random forest regression. For the features, we select the features column that we created. For the label, let's select price, as we want to generate a model for predicting the price. Let's go ahead and save the workflow. The next step is to be able to execute it. Now, when we hit execute, this workflow gets submitted to Databricks, gets executed there, and the results are streamed back and displayed in Sparkflows for you. At this point, we are seeing that it's running node random forest regression, so it is generating the model for us. It finished creating the model. The model by default has 20 trees. So these trees got generated. Here, the importance of the various features are being displayed. So that was the end-to-end integration of Sparkflows with Databricks. Thank you.